Hey, it's been a while. The Primarchs. They're a very important part of 40k's lore and setting. The 18 sons of the Emperor of Mankind. They are leaders of the 18 legions of Space Marines, which all sort of went off into their chapters. That's a whole other thing. Given all this preamble, you might be thinking that I'm going to be doing another attractiveness tier list like I did in my last video, which you can watch if you want. It's bad, but I had a better idea. Instead, let me introduce you to the Futch scale, created in, like, I don't know, the 2010s-ish by a bunch of Twitter lesbians or something, is basically a way of denotating fictional characters, real people, or abstract concepts on the scale of femme and butch, which, if that's not already obvious, is basically just fucking twinky, non-twink, bitch. You might be thinking, hey, aren't all of the Primarchs in 40k basically just big hulking masses of man meat? So wouldn't all of them basically go here? Well, let's find out. You think everything you know is accurate? You think the world revolves around you, don't you, you little shit? You think the world is just one concept that you can fully understand in a 5-minute video, you fucking moron. Kill yourself! Alright, so the first Primarch is...
My quest is to kill Chaos. Chaos will die. I can't fucking stand Chaos. He pisses me off.
So, our first Primarch is Lionel Johnson. Now this guy, he's basically pretty obviously in the butch category, so we'll just put him there. He is a big, buff, bearded guy who definitely didn't vote for Obama. He is basically the archetype of the guy who will comment under every single one of your posts the most horrifically sexual shit, and then just you look at his profile and he's like a hardcore MAGA guy with a wife and kids who can see his posts. He's that guy. That's him. And I'm putting him in the butch scale. Hailing from the death world of Israel. I am not wearing a different pair of pants. You're hallucinating. Our next Primarch is Fulgrim, and he's the Primarch of the Emperor's Children. Now, the Emperor's Children are our first traitor legion. I'm not really going to fully explain what a traitor legion is. Basically, they're traitors. Now, given that fact, traitor legions don't really like the Emperor much. And this is also the case for the Emperor's Children. So you might be wondering, why are they called the Emperor's Children? Fuck you, that's why. That might actually be the lore reason why. Now, the Emperor's Children specifically worship Slaanesh. Now, considering the amount of people who called me a Slaanesh demon in my last video, I'm just going to assume that that means he's a twink. And also I'm saying that because he's a twink. He's a twink, like... Now, I feel like we have a decent description of how this works, alright? Lionel Johnson, perfect description of butch Primarch. Fulgrim is the perfect description of twinky femme Primarch. So from these two axes, I feel like we can pretty decently determine who's on which side. If they're more like Lionel Glompson, that means they're over there. And if they're more like Fulgrim, that means they're over here. You get it, right? Peter Turbo is a professional hater. Bro stacks no bitches, and he fucks no paper, and he's gonna make it your problem. Ooh, the Horus heresy couldn't have gotten off the ground without him. Ooh, freaking dweeb, alright? And considering how many people were called nerds as a kid and became femboys, I'm going to assume that in another timeline, he'd be around here. And just to piss him off, I'm also gonna put him here on this timeline. Our next Primarch is Jagai KH, whose whole sort of bit is that he's like a Mongolian leader. I mean, his name is Jagai KH, but... how do I say this? You know how on the American right there's this really racist idea that black men in particular are really, really, like, masculine in a sort of over-the-top and grotesque way? I'm going somewhere with this. Apparently over in China they have that same idea, more or less, but with Mongolian people. For more information, here's my cultural consultant, Lu Shi, for a greater explanation of this phenomena. Take it away, Lu Shi. Wow, that was so interesting. Anyway, I'm gonna put him over here.
Right. Extra noses pounces on you. Ooh, you're so warm. Ooh.
Leman Russ is a furry jock with a wolf theme, so purely for the sake of my own understanding, I'm just going to assume that Omegaverse rules apply here, meaning that he does in fact have a knotted penis. That has nothing to do with any of this, but I just thought you'd like to know. So given all that, I'd say that he's probably pretty top adjacent, you know? He's a big wolf guy. So let's put him maybe here. I'd put him higher, but once again, being a furry does, you know, dock you a few points. I don't make the rules. I'm sorry. I do make the rules. Fuck you. I don't think Rogel Dorn knows what sex is. I think he just knows how to fortify structures, and that's it. I'd imagine that if you tried to interact with him, he would just be sort of a blank wall. So I don't know, some people seem to think that's masculine. Let's put him here. What, are you gonna question me on it? Or are you gonna go down in the comments, tell me I'm wrong? Coward. Conrad K is the Primarch of the Night Lords, and as you could probably tell by the fact that his only images that I could find were so black, they don't even show up on my printer, he's an edgelord! And considering the fact that every single emo guy that I've ever met was a bottom, I'm just gonna put him here. Oh, but he's so cool and edgy. Shut up, alright? I'm sick of hearing about this little fucker, alright? He's not interesting, he's just an edgelord. Why do people like him? I don't get it. I don't get it. For Sanguinius, Primarch of the Blood Angels, I'm invoking Avat. All vampires are twinks. Also, he's pretty much known almost entirely for the fact that he dies in a pretty, you know, heroic way, but still, like, that's kind of twink-coded, you know, dying. Anyway, in all seriousness, no, I think that Sanguinius probably can top, he just chooses not to. For his own reasons, you know, he's on his own journey, or, you know, was. He's dead, idiot. I'm putting him just a little bit above Peter Turbo.
Man, I'm dead.
As previously stated, being dead is an effeminate trait, alright? And nobody's died harder than Ferris M, who died like 5 seconds into the Horus heresy. I'm pretty sure he does basically just die so that somebody else looks cooler. Like, he gets warfed, which is really funny. So I'm gonna put him just slightly above Fulgrim, for no real reason. If I have to give an actual opinion on him and his faction, I'd say that the Iron Hands probably have one of the cooler aesthetics when it comes to the several Space Marine legions, but Ferris M himself and the lore of the Iron Hands really aren't that interesting. Like I said, he basically just exists to die, which, as we've previously stated, is twink-coded. All it says in my notes is Kramer moment. I don't know what that means, so we're moving on. Angron, another Chaos Primarch. This guy has been corrupted by Khorne, however, and Khorne's whole bit is angry. That's why his name is Angron. Funnily enough, this guy didn't become angry because of Khorne's influence. He was just already like that. Admittedly, it's sort of like a sad story, you know, he can only feel anger, but also, that's the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life, and I kinda love it. But, you know, given all that, I feel like anger, a lot of people think of as a very masculine trait, but you know what? They're wrong. The only people who I've ever seen who are this angry are, like, people compensating for something, and they're usually compensating for the fact that they can only bottom. So I'm gonna put him, like, right next to Sanguinius. Right there.
Who are you? I am from ancient Greece.
Rubu Gan knows what sex is, but he has never had it. And he probably also doesn't really know what topping or bottoming is, because he's never really looked into it. He's too busy fucking with taxes and creating trade routes. The Ultramarines are the most boring possible faction, which I guess makes sense why they're on all of the art and shit. What are you gonna get mad at? Their color scheme? They're blue. Who gives a shit? Anyway, given that, the fact that he is basically the oatmeal of Primarchs, I'm putting him in the middle scale. And I can't even do like my bit where I say, oh, he died, that means he's twink-coated, because he came back to life. This guy is one of the only loyalist Primarchs who's still alive. Of all the people, right? Jesus Christ. Robot Gorilla Man. Ah, Mortarion, Primarch of the Death Guard. Yet another traitor Primarch. This guy, he's been corrupted by Nurgle, which means he's really smelly, and also is a moth. Now, I don't want to talk about him, so I'm just going to acknowledge that a lot of the internet is into moth dommy mommies for some reason, and also boy smell. So I'm just going to put him here, and we're not going to talk about it, okay? Can we agree on that? We're just not going to talk about him, okay? Cool.
It's wizard time, motherfucker! Fireball!
Alright, so, okay. This is going to be an insane reference, but just stick with me. So, back in like the late 90s to early 2000s, when the pickup artist movement was really getting going, a lot of people would make these, DVDs and CDs and VHS tapes, whatever, to sell to people so that they could learn how to, pick up women, all that. That was the whole grift. Now, there was this one guy who was named, I think, Magic, and his whole bit was that he went to clubs and bars and stuff with this stupid Jamiroquai hat and did magic tricks to impress women. I'm not kidding, this guy was real, and he taught people how to do magic tricks to pick up women. Magnus the Red is that guy reincarnated in the 41st millennium. So, given everything I just said, I guess I'm putting him, I don't know, here? Does that work? Because, like he is able to pick up women, but badly. So I guess here. He's butch, but he's bad at it. So we're just putting him there.
Yesterday I had a moment of weakness. And I said and I did some things that were not me. I reacted in a way that was not cool.
I don't know why I find this picture of Horus so funny, but I do. And I will never not find it funny. I'm sorry. Anyway, Horus, Primarch of the Luna Wolves, among other chapters, is I think he's our last evil Primarch? Yeah, kinda. Okay, so Horus is a weird guy. You might have noticed that I've brought up the Horus heresy 1 or 2 times in this video, and yeah, this is him. He's the guy who did the heresy. It's him? It's him. Now, what was the heresy? Well, turns out, motherfucker had daddy issues so bad he destroyed half the galaxy. So, just for that, I'm tempted to put him, like, here, in, like, Bratty Bottom area. But alongside that, just, I know that it would make him more angry, and that makes me so happy, because I want him to be as angry as possible. You fuckers, you cowards think that, like, Angron is the best angry Primarch? No, it's Horus. He's the most fun when he's angry. I love him. There, right next to Ferris Manus, where he belongs.
Jesus is a friend of mine. Jesus is my friend.
Next up on our list is Lorgar. And I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but anyone who believes that they need to be subservient to a god is a bottom. You're a bottom if you think that. You might think that, you're able to go to church every morning and sleep with your wife. You can't. Your wife should be wearing a strap-on. And you know this to be true. All hail, King of the Bottoms. All hail. Anyway. Fun fact about Vulcan. So I'm putting him over here. I have a type, I'm sorry. A lot of people think that, being masculine is, just being aggressive, but true masculinity comes from being a fucking cool dude and he's a cool dude. Motherfucker stayed in a prison of, like, his own personal hell for, like, what, like, a decade or some shit? And came out the other side stronger, alright? Aspire to be like Vulcan. He's sick. And also my dad. Have you ever seen a twink who's also a bird? Anyway.
Activation word, Ronald McDonald. Public highway, congressman, pipe bomb, airport. We are past phrase go. All true patriots, now attack!
And now the twin Primarchs, Alfarius and Omegon. What can you say about the twin Primarchs, Alfarius and Omegon? Not much. Well, okay, you can say a lot, but, like, most of it is just realizing that half of all 40k lore might just be wrong. So, you know, that's fun. The Alpha Legion, which they are the Primarchs of, their whole bit is basically gaslighting, and doing psyops. So, I don't know, is that like a masculine thing, or is it a feminine thing? Is what I thought for a while. And then I went back on the old adage, gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss. Put him here, and you can't fucking stop me. Now would you look at that? Seems to be a pretty big spread. In fact, a fair few of these Primarchs seem to be bottoms. Now, next time somebody tells you that, oh, the Primarchs are big macho masculine men, send them this video, and they won't watch it. Now, moral of the story, Vulcan bodies any of the other Primarchs. Are you fucking kidding me? He's like 10 feet fucking tall. He's gonna fucking suplex any of these motherfuckers into a volcano, you stupid son of a bitch. Fuck you.